Drum Rack in Ableton Live is one of the most versatile and powerful drum module you can virtually use. It can be as complex or as simple as you build it. It's a really modular system that can allow you to route and use different drum sounds and instruments all in one combined device. And because it's so powerful and so versatile and you literally need to build it from scratch, it packs so many features that sometimes can be unknown or not really discussed or some hidden stuff. So today I want to share with you 3 tips that I feel not being discussed so much but are really powerful tools that you can use inside of the drum rack. So with no further ado, let's jump into Ableton Live and I'll show you what I mean. Over here I have a very simple drum rack that I built and a very simple pattern that I built that goes like this. Very simple beat. We have here a kick drum, some hi-hats and cymbals, some snare, some percussions, and some clap. Now, what I wanted to show you, and this is the first tip, is I have this percussion sound here. I want to use this percussion as a polymeter pattern that will go alongside the 4/4. Now, I wanted to repeat every 6 beats, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I use it as is inside this pattern, what will happen is that I will exceed this pattern and I would miss that other beat. So it wouldn't sound like a polymeter. Let's hear it. So let's solo it and hear how it sounds. You see how it's cut over here? This is not what I want. I want it to continue as a polymeter alongside a 4/4. So there's a way to overcome that, even though we cannot change the lanes here for this specific drum. What we can do instead, and this is something very cool and very powerful with the drum rack, is that I can come here and I can create a new MIDI channel, and I can do that with the shortcut of Command Shift and T, creating a new MIDI channel. And all I need to do now is select the drum rack again over here, and what this will do is we'll create a new MIDI that sends data into the drum rack over here. And if I create a clip, you will see that now I have all my drums here. Now what this means is that I can use this clip and I can treat it differently from the other clip. So now I can come here and I can create my polymeter. I can have one beat here and what you hear and maybe something here. So let's hear only this pattern so I show you what I mean. As you can see, this is looping correctly. So it's continue regardless of the beat. And what cool, this is now can be played together. So if I play this clip together with that one, and if I solo that, now it's a polymeter. And what also cool is that I can also look at them together, because right now I don't see it here because this is in the clip over here. It's a different clip. But if I hold this and I press shift and then I press on this clip, now I can see them together. And now I can see how the rhythms impact each other. And I can even zoom out and see the whole pattern when it's going to be looped again. You see how the polymeter here is looping before the pattern ends and it's continuing all the way. The benefit of doing it that way compared to just, having a separate channel with its own sampler or whatever to run as a polymeter is that I have all the drum sounds under the same drum rack, which I can play with a MIDI keyboard or a controller, and it's conveniently combine them all together. So I don't need to separate. I can just route a different MIDI channel and play the same drum. Okay, tip number 2 that I wanted to show you today is that it's not something new, it's not a new feature, but again, I don't think many people know about it, so I thought this will be useful to share. You probably know if you used Ableton Live in the past that you can select 2 channels, you can press on Command G and basically group them together, and now this is a new group channel. But this feature is also available inside of the drum rack. So why is it good? So for example, I have here the close hi-hat, the open hi-hat, and the right cymbal, right? So what I want to do, I want to process all these cymbal sounds together. I want to put some sort of processing on them. So what I can do, I can select them with shift and then pressing again Command G, it's the same command. And then now I have a small subgroup inside of the drum rack. And this is so powerful because now I can take all these 3 channels, all this group together, and I can put something, let's say, like drum bass. So I can put this now on all the 3 channels, and I can also solo this group right now because I have it over here. And I want to hear only the cymbals. So I'm processing, and maybe I can increase the transient reduce the volume a bit. See, so this is now applied only on the cymbal channels. So if I had another effect here on everything, meaning on the whole drum rack, over here, something like, let's do something dynamic. Let's take the glue compressor and glue everything together. So now I have a master effect on all the drum rack, and inside that there is a subgroup of the cymbals that can also go through that. So everything, all the processing is going through the same routing. I'm increasing here the makeup gain just to compensate on the compressor reduction. So as you can see here, right now we have the compressor, which is going on the whole drum rack. And on the group of the cymbals, we have the drum bass. So you can start to see from here how powerful the routing inside of the drum rack can go. And just by having this smaller group, which you can process differently from the rest of the drums, this opens for so many features that you can use it to treat the sound differently. Okay, so for the last tip that I wanted to share with you today, again, it's not a new feature, it's not a new thing, but I think that maybe not so many people know about it, so I want to share it in this video today. And the last and third tip is something that I was actually being inspired by Native Instrument Battery, which is another powerful drum module, but it doesn't get so much support lately in the last few years. And I think that Native Instrument kind of abandoned that excellent VST. I'm not sure why. But anyway, one of the cool feature in Battery is the feature of adding articulation to some of the drum pad. Now, what I mean by articulation, if we go here to, let's say, this rim shot, and I play over here, right now it's a single trigger. But something cool that Battery have and some other VST have is the ability to do some sort of like a roll or a flame. What's really cool with drum rack, you can actually also do it here, and we can do it by using MIDI effects. So these are not audio effects, they're not applying on the audio signal, but these are MIDI effects that apply on the MIDI trigger. They are coming before the device, before the instrument, and they manipulate the input of the MIDI, and they generate a new output that can help us generate this kind of articulation. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. I have here these two rim shot, and they are identical in sound. It's just a duplicate of this. The way you duplicate, by the way, is that you can hold the option on the keyboard and then drag this drum into a different pad. So you can copy one pad to another. But what I want to show you here, since I already copied this pad, is that I have this regular sound with a regular trigger for the rim shot. But here, what I can do is I can go into the MIDI effects in Ableton Live, this section over here, and I can take something like the note echo and put it before the rim shot. And what this basically does, that if I go, so let's hear the single first, the single trigger drum over here. But then the second one, you see it's adding a few of those triggers on top of the initial trigger. And this is basically acting like an echo, not an echo on the audio signal, but an echo on the MIDI notes. So it's duplicating the MIDI notes. But we don't want to use it here as a duplication of the MIDI notes. What we want to do is, instead of using it as a delay, I want to use it as a roll. So I can change it from sync. Right now it's syncing to the tempo, and you can see here that I can change the sync time. Let me show you just for example. Or I can go into 4. But I want to go even lower than that. And that's for that reason I'm going to deactivate the sync, and I'm going to time feature now, into the time option. And I'm going to change this to something very, very small, relatively very small. So now we have this kind of sort of roll or flame on the rim shot, which is different from this one, and it can be an alternative. So this is a different articulation of the same sound. So exactly like we could have done it with Battery, now we can also do it with drum rack just by using a MIDI effect. And this is even more powerful because there are all sorts of other MIDI effects, either from Ableton Live or some Max for Live, that we can use over here and create all sorts of different articulation. So how I'm going to use this in the rhythm is that, let's say I have this rim shot hitting one here, I can do this one with a roll that will bring us back into the kick. So let's hear it together. And I can play here and change the time if I want more separation. I can even do very low like this, and I can change the feedback to add more note repeat. And this is really open in all sorts of crazy and cool new way to use the sound. So these are my 3 tips for today. I hope they can help you enhance your drum rack creation and your rhythms. And I hope you enjoy and you learn something today. And if you have other tips for the drum rack, feel free to share those in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.